It is General Leia Organa's Saturday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. We come now to the latest iteration of Green Heroine's Easy Meditation. Green Heroine is known in Sanskrit as Shyamatara, and is known in Tibet as Droll Zhang. A hybrid of English and Sanskrit might be Green Tata. We view Green Tata not as a celestial entity to be worshipped, but as an archetype to help us to master the path, whose iconography helps us in mastering the path. Back in junior high gym class, they told us to first warm up, then have the main event, and then enjoy a nice cool down. A similar pattern is used in yoga, where we have sun salutations, stretching postures, and then corpse pose. We shall follow a similar outline this evening. The view of reality that supports letting go is the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, although you and I could describe it as Mahayoga's wisdom warm-ups. Oh, won't you please chant with me? Of course, that brings to mind a Korn song, and now that's playing in the background of my head. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with our follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors for statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. Now this looks like an opportunity to edit page, because not everything's appearing on the page, and we call that psychiness. So I'm going to make sure this is fitting properly. Splendid. Let's continue. So we come now to four sets of contemplations. They begin with the word may. May is not an inference of supplication to a celestial entity. Au contraire, we are simply using words to guide our own intention. The Buddha was fond of describing all that could be perceived in terms of the four bases of mindfulness: the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. This evening, we're going to begin with circumstances, also known as lots. Complex animals on this planet have evolved to think symbolically. That's probably why in every culture we have figures of speech. We're going to use melt as a metaphor of impermanence, and we're going to use the inference of absorption as a metaphor of interdependence. Lastly, just as a forester might fight fire with fire, we're going to use self-centeredness to transcend self-centeredness. Please chant with me. May we see how all circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. Consider this, if you will. We cannot think our way to enlightenment. but we can play with ideas that we are already familiar with as a way to warm up the portion of our central nervous system responsible for letting go. We're going to take all these words and allow them to coalesce into simply 6 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Together. May we feel how all bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communicational speech. May we hear how all interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. We are now going to, consider the word empty. When viewed literally, it makes no sense in terms of Buddhism. However, when viewed figuratively, it can serve as an illustration of non-graspability. Any good English teacher worth their salt would remind us that a simile is only as useful as it is relatable. Therefore, in the next page, we're going to explore a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast, empty void. Let us begin chanting with the word may. May we feel how all perceiving, emoting, intending, thinking, recalling, and imagining minds could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite outer sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be non-graspable to the hand. One moment. We now prepare to turn to the 7th and 8th folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path onto yogas, mindfulness, and meditation. But first, let us take 30 seconds for housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. And now we return to this evening's latest iteration of Green Heroine's Easy Meditation. If you've just joined us, welcome aboard. Mindfulness and meditation can be thought of as being like a luxury electric vehicle. You might not want to go off-roading in it. And so the energy work of Anu Yoga can be that highway. There are many flavors of Anu Yoga. My favorite is Mudra Anu Yoga, or finger-oriented energy work. I'm going to add another adjective here, finger-oriented gesture. Finger gesture oriented. There we go. And as as salacious as that might sound, it's a good descriptor. So we're going to play with 4 collections of 8 sets of 8 rounds. Allow me to elaborate. A round is simply 1 inhalation and 1 exhalation. If we don't exhale, we'll simply turn blue, tip over, wiggle funny, and scare the canine overlord who dines upon the kibble we earn. So, every time we inhale, we could advance our right thumb. Over the span of 8 inhalations, we could articulate our thumb thusly: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if you wish to meditate for a significant length of time, you'll want to do more than just 8 rounds. So we can practice for 64 rounds by multiplying the 8 rounds by 8 sets. 1, 2, 3 on our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we can multiply those 64 rounds by 4 collections. I guess that would be 4 times 4 is 6, carry the 1. 4 times 6 is 4, carry the 2. So I forgot, 344. Does that sound right? Let me quickly check the glass brick I call a smartphone. Let's see here. 8 times 8 times 4 equals 256. The easiest way to manage that, to keep track of our first collection, is to rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger in our lap. Doing so, as a fringe benefit, will gently invite our subtle energies to coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Please chant with me. The nudity of the octuple couple sporting in tantric union reminds us of the vulnerability so crucial to watching the antics of mind, that is the mindfulness hidden within each inhalation and revealed by the demonstrative pronoun this. What if mindfulness was as simple as noticing vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly? Noticing what? Noticing mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including emoting, intending, reasoning, recollecting, and imagining. What if the easiest way to do all of this was to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation? But what about meditation? What if meditation was simply relaxing in harmony with our exhalation to such a profound degree that which we perceived during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel a trifle less solid, less permanent, and less defining? And what if it could be practiced as easily as silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation? Let us practice together right now. So, to make things easier on you, what I'm going to do is angle the camera down so you can watch my hands in my lap and follow along if you so desire. Yes, this method of Bengali crease counting is ungainly, but repetition is the mother of skill. Come to these live streams once every 12 hours, and within 2 weeks you can master all these techniques. We now, to keep track of this, our second of 4 collections, we are going to rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger in our lap. Please chant with me. The translucence of the tantric yogis depicted in paintings reminds us of the fleeting experience of impermanence and non-graspability, so common to the relaxation into the nature of mind that is meditation, hidden within each exhalation and revealed by the monosyllabic FREEBIES. Okay, or in other words, the essence of meditation is to relax into the nature of mind. How do we do that? Simple. Every time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable FREEBIES during each exhalation. Doing so helps us to experience that which we perceived during our previous inhalation as being fleetingly less solid, less permanent, and even less defining. If you've just joined us, welcome aboard. The key to mindfulness is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, thus facilitating awareness that is vulnerable, passive, visceral, random, and fleeting. Awareness of what? Awareness of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Please practice with me. So what I'm going to do is angle the camera so you can follow along with my finger gestures if you so desire. We come now to our third of 4 collections of 8 sets of 8 rounds. I'll take a moment to show you how that works. Every time we inhale, we can advance our right thumb. Over the course of 8 inhalations, we could articulate our right thumb thusly. Always beginning with little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. With our left hand, we count sets of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to count. We're in the process of collecting or gathering 4 collections of 8 sets of 8 rounds. And so we're in the 3rd collection right now. So we're going to rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, upon the tip of our left middle finger, in our lap. One moment, Victor. I'll get with you. I'll get with you in a second. I'll get to you in a second. There you go. So, quick like a bunny, I'm going back to button 9. And allow me to show you that by holding our hands in this position, we are inviting our subtle energies to coalesce at our heart. Now, before I go into greater detail about the exact process of mindfulness and meditation, I'm going to attempt to answer a question. Victor wrote, "Sorry to have arrived late, Lama. Can you please clarify, is it 1 round or both inhalation and exhalation per finger position?" That's a wonderful question. So there's a 2-part answer. Number 1, we advance the thumb during each inhalation. It sits there during the exhalation. It then advances during the next inhalation and camps out during the exhalation. Once again, it advances during the inhalation and just hangs out during the exhalation. I hope that's helpful. Let me see here. Yes, I want to tap button 9. And then make my way over to the next page. Please chant with me. The beauty of Amagasiddhi Tara Karma Mudra reminds us of the highest love, which is not the product of contrite focus or analysis, but rather the spontaneous side effect of our mindfulness and meditation that calm our anxious and aggressive amygdala and stimulate our empathetic anterior cingulate gyrus. So, number 1, the essence of mindfulness is to notice in a very special way, to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which is the opposite of concentration. But to notice what? Notice mind's antics of perception. Seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. The easiest way to do all of this is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. Meditation is simply relaxing in harmony with our exhalation with such proficiency that which we perceived during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel a trifle less solid, less permanent, and less defining, thus lending itself to release. The easiest way to do this is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. So what I'm going to do now is adjust the camera so that if you so desire, you may follow my hand movements. So I can either stick on this page so you can continue reading this ease, or I can go to Jumbo Cam. I think I'll go to Jumbo Cam this time. And if that's more difficult, let me know in the chat window, if you please. Pardon me. So push it forward and pull it back. So here we go. Try not to be too slutty. I'm sorry, Victor. I'm not. Pronouns confuse me. So if it's useful, let me know. If it's a hindrance and you'd rather read, let me know. Thank you, Victor. Let's see, how do we set this back? Okay. So I'm going to tap button 9. We come now to our fourth of 4 collections of 8 sets of 8 rounds. Ooh, good, a question. Un momento. Let's see, I'll tap button 8. This is probably a lecture unto itself, but if you have the time at the end, I'm curious as to the significance of the middle finger to ring knuckles. So, if I said that, I misspoke. It should be middle finger to middle finger knuckle, or the great knuckle at the base of the right middle finger. So, what I should have said was, we had just finished resting the great knuckle at the base of the right middle finger upon the tip of the left middle finger. If I misspoke, I apologize. I do have brain damage, so sometimes I really slur. So let's continue. I'm going to tap button 9. And go back to button 4. So, here we go. Quick review. We're going to collect 8 rounds on our right hand. During each inhalation, we're going to advance our right thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over the span of 8 rounds. No worries, no worries. Your input is very valuable to me, Victor, so keep it coming. So we are also going to count 8 sets of 8 rounds. These sets are counted on our left hand, always beginning with the little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we keep track of this, our fourth of 4 collections, by resting the great knuckle at the base of the right index finger upon the tip of the left index finger in our lap. A fringe benefit of that is that our subtle energies coalesce at our crown wheel. Please chant with me. The stability with which homogosity sits, and the abandon with which Tata sports, reminds us of the scented spontaneity with which our choices, utterances, and deeds could flow in the effortless effort of the sixthfold of the Buddha's eightfold path. This is a bit of a tongue twister, is it not? If you've just joined me, arg matey, welcome aboard. So here's how mindfulness works. The late Tukul Tundip explained that mindfulness is simply watching the play of mind. Watching it how? Watching it vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which is the opposite of concentration. But what are we all observing precisely? We're observing mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. And that sounds like a tall order. Fortunately, there's a shortcut. Every time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb this, let's try this again. We could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb or the wow. Oh, wait, let's try this again. Sorry, I'm a little soft between the ears. The way to do this is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The late Chogdud Tulku explained that meditation is simply relaxing into the nature of mind. When we relax in harmony with our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel a trifle less solid, less permanent, and even less defining. Just therefore, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. So in a nutshell, what are we doing? As we inhale, we mentally recite this. As we exhale, we mentally recite ease. That's it. If you want, you can follow along with the hand jive, but you don't have to. Oops. Adjust these bad boys real quick. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So we're starting with our index finger, resting upon the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger. And now we're just going to hang out. There are no stupid questions. The key to mastering this path rapidly is to ask specific questions about stuff that weighs heavy on your heart. Especially if that stuff is about the Buddhist chanting, Buddhist philosophy, or Buddhist meditation. We now prepare to shift from silent meditation to mantra meditation. Okay. So let us chant an adaptation of the Dharani explaining this mantra's meaning. O Mamaja Tara, swift and courageous, you drive away all fears with Tutare's meditation. Heroine fulfilling all ends with today's mindfulness, thus with the suitable, so may it be so. I want to make sure this fits on the screen well. Yeah, that'll work. So here's how it works. During the inhalation, silently and mentally we recite, relaxing into this. What is this? This is the universal label. We apply it to whatever we perceive, to whatever we see or hear or feel or hate or smell, to whatever we emote or intend or reason or recall or imagine. regardless of that which we notice, regardless of that which we notice is external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. What do we do during the exhalation? We physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 10-syllable mantra 3 times per breath. If this is your first time hanging out with me, give yourself permission to have a learning curve. The most important thing is not the speed with which you recite or the beauty with which you chant. The most important thing is to be vulnerable as you breathe in and to relax as best you can as you breathe out. Now, fortunately, you're not starting from scratch. Evolution's got our back. Our sympathetic nervous system's already evolved to help us notice. Our parasympathetic nervous system has already evolved to help us relax. Really, our major work in meditating is simply training our cerebral cortex to stop opposing our autonomic nervous system and actually start cooperating with it. So what I'm going to do is show you a different way of counting for mantra work. So during mantra work, each finger could count as 1 breath. Additionally, each set of creases could count as 1 recitation. Together, let us practice. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Suwa, 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 Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Suwa. We began with Mahayoga's wisdom warm-up. We then proceeded with mindfulness and meditation. We are now transitioning to Mahayoga's compassionate cool-down, also known as mantra-oriented loving kindness. So, we could look at this as manifesting work. So the first thing we're going to do, well, actually, we're gonna chant a disclaimer. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies for the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors for statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors that chance expanding metaphors as similes. Okay, so in an effort to collect the second and third collections of 12 repetitions, let us touch the tip of our left thumb to our left little finger and rest this hand upon our left thigh. So we're first going to let go of yucky mental stuff. We're going to let go of everybody's yucky mental stuff by exploring that which is conventionally lucid yet ultimately empty. Please chant with me. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever perceptions, emotions, and tensions. Let's try this again. perceptions, emotions, intentions, thoughts, recollections, or imaginings we experience during our inhalation. Could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined suitable time comprised only of light. Om Dhare 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 Suwa, 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 Om Dhare 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 Suwa. May we be a font of blessing for all upon who we think and or who think of us. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a clear one suitable seed or Bija mantra. Om Dhare 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 Suwa, 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 Om Dhare 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 Suwa. The mental morality of kind intention is the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. To keep track of our fourth and fifth collections of 12 repetitions, we could touch the tip of our left thumb to our left ring finger, resting the left hand upon the left thigh. Let us explore how the universal experience of interdependence could be conventionally resounding, though ultimately empty. As we relax into our exhalation, all interpersonal dynamics we heard during our inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined mantra comprised only of light. Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa. Ooh, this is interesting. And while I'm at it, I should probably do a quick edit over here just as well. Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa. Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa. Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa. Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa. May we be a font of blessing for all who we listen to, speak to, or speak of. And for all who listen to us, or speak to us, or speak of us. May all relationships, all speech of all beings know be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha's speech symbolized by a multisyllabic mantra. Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa. Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa. Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa. Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa, Om Dare Dare Suwa. The interpersonal morality of kind communication is the third fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. To keep track of our 6th and 7th collections of 12 repetitions, we could touch the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left middle finger, resting this left hand upon our left thigh. Welcome aboard to this evening's practice. By the way, this gesture invites our subtle energies to coalesce at our heart. We're now going to explore how the physical is conventionally sensual, yet ultimately empty. They are both important. Oh, goodness! Please chant with me. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever bodies or forms we felt during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a Yadamok type of enlightenment comprised only of light. So, if you've just joined, here's the secret to mantra meditation. During the inhalation, silently and mentally we recite all forms felt yet, void-like Yadam. Void is just a metaphor of non-graspability. During our exhalation, we relax as best we can as we strive to chant this 10-syllable mantra 3 times per breath. Om Tare Nare Nurizuwa, Om Tare Nare Nurizuwa, Om Tare Nare Nurizuwa, Om Tare Nurizuwa, Om Tare Nare Nurizuwa, Om Tare Nare Nurizuwa. Om Tare Nare Nurizuwa, 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 Om Tare Nare Nurizuwa. Now this is an editing opportunity, please bear with me. May we be a font of blessing for all who we touch or who touch us. I spy with my little eye an additional editing opportunity. Let's chant. May all bodies or forms of all beings know and enjoy the beautiful health represented by Buddha's statuary, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Yadama, an archetype of enlightenment such as green heroine. Om Tare. Oopsie, let's try this again. So, here's what's happened. We've taken all these words and we allow them to coalesce into 6 syllables, and that we divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Now, during our inhalation, we're going to silently and mentally recite the loving wish, Yadam, health for all forms. Form here is a synonym for body. During our exhalation, we're going to physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 10-syllable mantra 3 times per breath. Om Tare Nare Nurizuwa, 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 Om Tare Nare Nurizuwa. If you just joined, welcome aboard, or perhaps I should say, arg, welcome aboard, matey. So we've come to our 8th and 9th of 9 collections of 12 repetitions. To keep track of it, we could touch the tip of our left thumb to the tip of our left index finger and rest this left hand upon our left thigh. We're now going to explore how circumstances are conventionally appearing yet ultimately empty. Please chant with me. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever circumstances or lots we have seen during our inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined paradise, pure land of hati comprised only of light. So now we're going to take all these words and allow them to constrict into just 8 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Om Dare Nani Nuni Suwa, 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 Om Dare Nani Nuni Suwa. May we be a font of blessing for all who we see or who see us. May all circumstances, our lots of all beings now have the safe fortune or boon, as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of all team. Om Dare Nani Nuni Suwa, 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 Om Dare Nani Nuni Suwa. The circumstantial morality of kind commerce is the 5th fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. I sincerely hope you found this to be beneficial. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.